I'm sure you clicked on this video because you are well aware that ignoring a woman can actually be a power move when you're trying to gain back control. But how you do it, when you do it, and why you do it matter. I'll be breaking it all down for you in the video coming up. But first, let me just say this. Let me tell you something about women. We notice everything. A text you didn't send, a call you didn't make, the effort you suddenly stopped putting in. Ignoring a woman can be a power move, sure, but it can also backfire in ways you don't expect. So today I'm breaking down exactly what happens when you ignore a woman and how it could either work for you or destroy any chance you had. And you may have your reasons, and they could be valid, but just be careful how you go about it. Let's jump right in. The immediate reaction: curiosity or confusion. Let's start with what happens right away when you ignore a woman. Women are naturally intuitive and detail-oriented, especially when it comes to someone that they care about. So when you suddenly go radio silent, her mind obviously will go into overdrive. She'll start asking herself, why hasn't he texted me back? Did I say something wrong? Is he upset? But here's where it gets interesting. If she likes you, or even if she's just slightly curious about you, this silence will become like a cliffhanger in her favorite show. She needs to know what's going on. And here's the thing, women hate uncertainty. That little gap you created by ignoring her forces her to fill in the blanks. And the stories she creates in her head can range from he's busy at work to he's texting someone else. The more unpredictable you are, the more she'll think about you. This is where ignoring her can give you the upper hand if she's already interested. On the real though, this strategy doesn't work on every woman. If she was never into you to begin with, she'll use that silence as a signal to move on. No overanalyzing, no texting, just gone. So the first rule is simple. If you're going to ignore her, just make sure there's already a foundation of attraction. If she doesn't care about you or hasn't invested emotionally yet, your silence won't create curiosity. It'll just solidify indifference. This is why timing is everything. If you've been consistent with your attention and communication, a sudden break in the pattern feels like a plot twist. But if you've been inconsistent or flaky from the start, ignoring her just blends into the background noise of her life. You're not creating mystery, you're just confirming that you're unreliable. So think about how you've set the stage before deciding to play the silence card. Before you try this, you want to ask yourself, does she care enough about me to even wonder why I'm silent? If the answer is yes, then you might just spark something. If not, you've got some work to do. The emotional buildup: anger, doubt, or desire. Women are emotional creatures and our feelings don't sit still. When you go silent, our curiosity from the first stage will start to shift into something deeper, right? Now, depending on who she is and how much she's into you, this could mean anger, doubt, or even desire. I'll break down each stage. Let's talk about the anger stage, okay? Sometimes ignoring a woman can make her downright mad, right? Upset. And not necessarily because she's furious at you as a person. It's more about how you've disrupted her sense of control. When a woman is used to getting attention, your silence will feel like rejection. It messes with her ego. She might think, well, why isn't he texting me? I'm the one who decides when the conversation ends. If she's the type who's used to always being chased, your lack of effort will feel like a slap in the face. When anger sets in, some women will try to provoke a reaction from you. She might send a passive-aggressive text like, I guess you're too busy for me. Or she might post something on social media designed to get under your skin. And it will be her way of regaining control. Okay? Now, if you're dealing with a high-maintenance or attention-seeking woman, this reaction is almost guaranteed. Let's discuss the doubt stage. For women who genuinely like you or are just starting to catch feelings, your silence can plant seeds of insecurity. She'll replay your last interaction over and over, trying to figure out if she did something wrong. And guys, this is where things get tricky because doubt makes her vulnerable, but it also makes her defensive. If she feels like you're playing games, it could flip the switch in her mind. She might decide, well, you're not worth the emotional effort and start to pull away herself. So this stage is like walking a tightrope, okay? Too much silence and she'll think you're uninterested or disrespectful, and too little silence and she won't feel the spark of curiosity that makes her want to chase you. So it's all about balance. Let's get into the desire stage. Now here's where ignoring a woman can work in your favor. For some women, your silence triggers desire because it signals that you're not desperate. You're not constantly checking your phone, waiting for her to respond. You're out there living your life, and of course, that's interestingly appealing to women. When a woman senses that you're confident, self-sufficient, and not overly available, she'll start to see you differently. She might think, hey, what's he up to? Why isn't he messaging me? And just like that, you've created an air of mystery that will pull her in. The catch is, though, that this only works if she already finds you attractive or intriguing. If you're just some random guy she exchanged numbers with, your silence will barely register. Yep, she won't even notice. In fact, she might even forget about you during that period. Desire is built on the foundation of attraction. So make sure that you've laid the groundwork before you try this whole silence ignoring move. Why emotional buildup matters. This emotional roller coaster, whether it's anger, doubt, or desire, is what makes ignoring a woman such a risky move. It can stir her feelings and make her think about you constantly, but it can also push her away if you overplay your hand. So ask yourself, are you trying to create desire, or are you unintentionally triggering doubt and anger? Because trust me, how you handle this stage will determine whether she becomes more interested in you or completely writes you off. The long-term impact, respect or resentment. Okay, so let's talk about the long game. Ignoring a woman just isn't about the immediate reaction or even the emotional buildup. It's what happens after the dust settles. And this is where the stakes get real, because the way you handle silence can either make her respect you or create resentment that she'll never forget. Let's break this down. If you've played your cards right, ignoring a woman can lead to one of the most powerful dynamics in any relationship, which is respect. The catch is, though, it only works if she sees you as a high-value man. What does that mean? It means you've shown her that your time is valuable, your attention isn't freely given, and you're not the kind of guy who's constantly seeking validation. A high-value man is busy chasing his goals, building his life, and living with purpose. And when a woman sees that, she'll respect it. Your silence, in this case, doesn't come across as disinterest. It comes across as confidence in so many ways. It says, I'm not ignoring you because I don't care. I'm doing it because I know my worth. But, and this is a big but, you can only pull this off if your silence is authentic. If you're truly busy living your life, your best life, she'll feel it. And if you're pretending, she'll see right through it as well. This usually happens when your silence feels like a game. If she senses that you're ignoring her just to get a reaction, it'll come across as manipulative. No woman likes feeling like she's being toyed with. And when she does, game over. She'll think, well, if he's this immature now, what's it going to be like being in a relationship with him? Resentment builds when a woman feels disrespected. If you ghost her without explanation, stop responding to her texts, or ignore her for too long, she's going to feel like you're not worth her time. And when resentment sets in, she doesn't just lose interest in you, she loses respect for you as a person. And once that respect is gone, it's almost impossible to get it back. So how do you avoid resentment and build respect? It's all about balance. Don't ghost her or cut off communication completely. Instead, create just enough space to make her value your attention. Here's the golden rule. Silence should always feel intentional, not careless. If you're ignoring her because you're genuinely busy, she'll respect that. If you're ignoring her, on the other hand, because you're trying to play hard to get, you risk coming across as immature or insincere. And I'll add to this. You need to know when to stop. Ignoring her for too long will backfire even if she was initially interested. Okay? As I told you, women are emotional creatures, but we also know our worth. If you stay silent for days or weeks without any explanation, she's going to move on. Instead, use silence as a way to reset the dynamic. Give her time to miss you, but then re-engage with confidence. When you do reach out, make it clear that you've been busy, right? And not just sitting around waiting for her. That's the kind of energy women will respect. See, ignoring a woman works when it's done with purpose and when there's already a strong foundation of attraction. Let me explain. If she likes you, she finds you attractive, respects you, feels some emotional connection, your silence will make her curious. It'll create that sense of distance that she naturally would want to close, right? Of course, because women are drawn to what feels slightly out of reach. We all are. And this is where the psychology of scarcity will kick in. When your attention becomes less available, it feels more valuable. Now, let's talk about when ignoring a woman fails, okay? Now, I believe that ignoring a woman will fail if, number one, and I've said this throughout the video, she's not interested, okay? If she doesn't already have some kind of level of attraction for you or interest in you, your silence won't create curiosity. It'll just solidify her indifference. She'll think, well, he stopped texting. Okay, that's fine. I wasn't that into him anyway. 2, it feels like a game. Women hate feeling manipulated. If your silence comes across as a strategy to gain the upper hand, she'll see right through it. Right through it. And instead of chasing you, she'll lose respect for you. 3, you've been inconsistent. If you've been flaky or unreliable from the start, ignoring her doesn't make you mysterious, it makes you predictable. She's already expecting you to disappear, so your silence won't have any emotional impact. Ignoring a woman only works if she sees you as someone worth missing. If you haven't created that value, your silence is just silence. And that's not going to get you anywhere. I'll wrap up this video now. Listen, guys, at the end of the day, ignoring a woman is a gamble, okay? And I'm sure you'll have your reasons for wanting to do that. But it can either make her crave you or completely push her away. Question is, are you confident enough in yourself to handle either outcome? If you take anything away from this video, let it be this. Women respect men who know their worth, not men who play games to prove it.